Ever scroll through social media and kind of feel like, ugh, everyone else has this like perfect life, and I'm stuck here with, well, mine.
I know exactly what you mean.
It's that tricky thing.
Right. Yeah.
How social media can make us question, I don't know, everything about ourselves.
Yeah, it's almost like it makes you forget that there's a whole world out there beyond those perfectly curated squares.
Totally. So I guess for this deep dive, we're talking about how social media messes with our, what do you call it, self-esteem.
Yeah, self-esteem. Basically, how much we value and appreciate ourselves.
Which, I mean, you don't need a PhD to know that's pretty important stuff.
Definitely. Affects pretty much everything, really. Our relationships, our choices, even how we see the world.
And then social media jumps in and says, hey, look at all these people who are doing life better than you.
Right. It's like that feeling of, what's it called? FOMO?
Fear of missing out.
Yeah, FOMO. Like
Yeah.
everyone's out there having these amazing experiences and you're, well, not.
So you start comparing yourself.
Hmm.
And then you start feeling, what, inadequate.
Exactly. You might even question your own achievements, like, are they even good enough?
I know, I've definitely been there. Like, why doesn't my sourdough bread look like that?
And then there's the whole thing with likes and comments and followers and, oh my God, do those numbers really matter?
Okay, tell me I'm not the only one who gets a little, I don't know, obsessed with those things.
Oh, you're not alone. Our brains are kind of wired to crave validation.
Yeah, and then likes and comments, they give you that little dopamine hit, like, hey, you're doing great.
But here's the thing. When you start relying on those external markers for your self-worth, it can become, well, a problem.
Because what happens when the likes stop coming? Or you don't gain enough
You
followers?
start feeling like less than. And there's research that shows a link between heavy social media use and symptoms of depression, especially for young people.
Yikes. That's not good.
No, not at all.
But okay, I gotta say, social media isn't all bad, is it?
Not at all.
I mean, it keeps me connected to friends and family. That's how I find out about, like, cool events. I even met you through social media.
Exactly. It's a powerful tool for connection, and I think we sometimes forget that.
Totally. I mean, think about all those online groups and communities built around shared interests.
Right, like finding your people, even if they're miles away. That can be so good for your self-esteem.
It's like, I don't know, finding your tribe, but online.
I like that. Finding your online tribe.
Makes you feel like you belong, like you're part of something bigger.
And don't forget about all the positive social change that happens on social media.
Oh, yeah. Like those movements that bring people together to fight for important causes.
Absolutely. Gives a voice to people who might not otherwise be heard.
So, okay, we're not saying delete all your accounts, right?
Sure.
It's more about being, smarter about how we use it.
Exactly. Think of it like this. Social media is a tool. It can be a great tool, but you got to know how to use it properly.
Like setting boundaries, maybe.
Yeah, like maybe limiting your time on certain platforms or turning off those pesky notifications.
Oh, yeah, notifications. Those are the worst.
Right. They just keep you hooked.
I actually turned off most of my notifications a while back.
Really?
And honestly, it was such a relief. Like, I was suddenly in control of my time and attention again.
It's about reclaiming that power. Shifting our focus from external validation, like those likes and comments, to internal self-worth.
So how do we do that? Like, what are some practical steps?
Start small. Maybe delete one app that you know makes you feel bad about yourself.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Or set a time limit for scrolling. Even just 30 minutes a day can make a difference.
Okay, so small changes, but consistent changes.
Exactly. It's like anything else. It takes practice.
And it's about remembering that, hey, our self-worth is way too important to be determined by, like, an algorithm.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So I got to ask, what's one small change you can make, starting today, to improve your relationship with social media? And maybe even more importantly, your relationship with yourself.
Think about it. Just one small step and see what happens.
You might be surprised at the difference it makes.